it's Megan with Lez Girlies, and today is our first official video. So congratulations if you are watching this on Sunday, June 1st. It's finally the Lez Girlies launch. Today is a segment that I like to call Lesbian Mythbuster. We're going to be tackling a bunch of different myths about lesbians, and today's myth is that lesbian life is like the L word. As a young lesbian, or as a straight person watching the show, you could easily get to believing that the L word was an accurate representation of the lesbian community, and it is not. First, let's start with all the fucking that happens in that friend group, okay? So we have Alice and Dana and Jenny and Bet and Tina and Shane, and then Helena, Max, and Carmen. So these 9 girls that are in the show most of the time. Everybody has fucked everybody. It's like the chart, you know? Alice has fucked Bet, Bet has fucked Tina, Tina fucked Helena, Max fucked Jenny, Jenny fucked Shane, Shane fucked Carmen, Carmen fucked Jenny, Alice fucked Dana, and Dana and Jenny sort of had a thing for a while. Who has a friend group like that? Lesbians don't just hang around with all of their exes and like a big ex bundle of friends. Like, that just doesn't happen. You can be friendly with your ex, but they aren't gonna be like your best friend. I've never met a lesbian group of friends where they had all fucked each other. That's just fucking bizarre. I mean, I get that it adds drama and complexity to the lives of these lesbians, and maybe for the older generation that's more true, but at least today's lesbian would never happen. Now let's move on to the lack of safe, long-term relationships. Lesbian relationships are known for being pretty fucking long-term, but let's examine the long-term relationships in the L word, shall we? So there's Bet and Tina. What happens with that? Oh right, Bet goes and fucks a carpenter, and then they fucking break up, and then they get back together, and then Tina fucks that guy, and then they split apart again, and then they get back together again. It's just, they're never safe, you know? They can never just be a happy, normal relationship. They have to like have all this bullshit thrown at them all the time, and that's kind of shitty because they were supposed to be like the in love couple. I don't know, it was fucked up. Then there's also Dana and Alice, who weren't really together for a long time, but you know, they were best friends for a really long time, and then they got together. How long were they even together for? Like less than a year before Dana decides, oh, sorry, you've been my best friend for years, but there's this hot redhead down the block and I'd rather go fuck her now. It just, what? And then of course there is Shane and Carmen, and we all know what happens there, but how can you just leave Carmen at the altar? Nobody in real life is going to leave Carmen at the fucking altar. Have you seen Carmen? What? I don't think Shane would have ever done that, personally. And it just goes to show lesbians as these like weird commitment phobes who can't hold on to a good relationship when they have one, which is so not true. Lesbians are like the commitment freaks of the world, and Shane makes fun of that all the time, but there's no commitment in the L word to be found, so I don't know what she's talking about in her own little universe. Now let's talk about the cheating. Shane cheats on Carmen with Sherry Jaffe, and also everybody else she's ever with everybody else, so she's just cheating on everybody, but that's Shane. Like, it's okay to have one character that cheats, right? But there's more. Dana, she cheats on Tanya with Alice. Then she cheats on Alice emotionally with Laura. Bet cheats on her long-term relationship partner person, Tina, with some carpenter that she was working with at work. And then later, like I said, Tina cheats on Bet with that straight guy. I have no idea what his name is. Jenny, in the first season, cheats on Tim, her fiance, with Marina, who is cheating on Jenny and her wife and her husband with, I guess, Jenny and her wife and her husband and whoever the fuck else we didn't even know about. Marina was just cheating on everybody too. Like, what the fuck, Marina? Carmen cheats on Jenny with Shane emotionally, and Carmen mentions that she cheats on Shane with just some random person to get back at her for sleeping with Sherry Jaffe. There's probably a lot more than that. I have known one lesbian that has cheated on her girlfriend, and that's it. It's not a super common occurrence. It's not like everybody cheats in the lesbian community or like steals girls from their husbands or whatever that is. Like, what is that? There's also a huge lack of diversity in the L Word. For the most part, they're all just beautiful, wealthy, artsy, feminine women. They're all gay except for Alice, and then it turns out that Max is actually trans, and he was the only butch lesbian of them. Right when you thought that they were going to show more diversity in the lesbian community, they were like, oh no, actually, he's part of the trans community. And that's fine that they're representing that, but it would have been nice to see more diversity in the lesbian community. There are no butch lesbians to be found in the L Word. There's so many butch lesbians, and so many lesbians that aren't stick thin, and so many lesbians that are different. Like, it's as diverse as like the whole community. So it's just really strange and disappointing that there wasn't more diversity in the L Word. Eileen Chaikin actually commented on the lack of diversity in the show. I have 2 quotes from her. The first is, I absolutely wish there was more diversity in the show. And I'm not just talking about racial diversity, though that's certainly part of it, but I wish I could represent a more diverse group of gay women, and it's proven difficult. And also, I knew that I wouldn't get criticized for not representing everybody, and I just would have to be able to handle that because there was no way that I could. That kind of seems like a lame excuse. Again, I get that it's a show, I get why everyone's beautiful. How difficult would it have been to not try to represent the whole community, but to just represent more? Like, because of course you're never going to be able to show all of it in your show or in anything that you're doing because it's so vast, but you could show more of it than just like the white, feminine, LA, rich lesbians that she is showing, in my opinion. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Put in the comments below if you think the L Word should have been different in some way, or if you think the L Word was actually a really good representation of lesbians. Challenge me. Be sure to like and subscribe and tune in tomorrow because Trish is going to do an advice segment for all of you called Ask a Gay. Have a great Sunday!